we're going to get started, but we may have a couple other families join us. I'm currently working on 21 cases related to Build It Back, and we've helped hundreds of families since 2012 rebuild, recover. But unfortunately, we're still in a situation 7 years later, and many of you know next week is the 7th anniversary of when the storm hit. And 7 years later, we are still helping families navigate the red tape of the City Build It Back program. We're still dealing with contractors who are not communicating with families. They're doing poor work that needs to be repaired, that things are breaking down. There are major issues that are occurring. I want to point out that in 2015, Mayor de Blasio came to my district. He gave us his word that the construction was going to be completed by the end of 2016. Yet here we are 3 years after that, and we still have families who are dealing with Build It Back issues, and we have a few who aren't even back in their homes yet 7 years later. And to me, that's unconscionable. It's absolutely unconscionable. And I gotta tell you, it is completely unacceptable that the city has been treating these individuals who are residents, who are taxpayers, who have done everything right and trusted the city that the Build It Back program was gonna help them rebuild from Hurricane Sandy. So today in particular, I have decided to do this press conference because in December of 2018, I did a press conference, and a couple of those families were here then, and since the other families are new cases that we've taken on since then. But during the time of that press conference in December 2018, Build It Back told the Staten Island Advance that any issue, this is a quote, any issue related to work completed or under warranty will be addressed. Those were the words in December 18 by the spokesperson for the New York City Build It Back program. Yet I have two families here today that are still trying to navigate the red tape. The work that was completed and done poorly has not been fixed. And worse of all, they string them along until the warranties on certain appliances are done. And then they say, oh, it's too late. It's not under warranty anymore. And that's really horrible that the city is doing that to my constituents and to the mayor's constituents. Today we're at the home of Diane Doyle. Diane and Tom Doyle. And I thank them for allowing us to be here. Unfortunately, what we notice is we need to get the media to embarrass the city of New York, to embarrass the mayor, to embarrass Build It Back, and then we get some attention. And we've been able to help a lot of these issues, and that's why some of the families that were here in December are not here today, because their issues have been resolved. And in some cases, we've been able to help these families with certain things in their homes, but yet there's still other issues that are pending. So I want to allow them to talk to you directly and tell their story, tell you what they're experiencing here 7 years after Hurricane Sandy struck. I want to also acknowledge from Senator Lanza's office, Anthony Reinhardt, who has been a great partner. The senator and I have worked closely, fighting with the city, fighting with Build It Back to try to resolve these issues, as has Councilman Steve Matteo, and we thank you for being here. So I would like to just, if I could bring Carol Hefty first to talk a little bit about what has occurred with her homes. And she's one of the ones who was with us a year ago when the city said that they were going to address everything and still hasn't.
I'm sorry, can you spell your last name, please?
Hefty.
Thank you.
Could you move to your right a little more? Thank you.
The worst part of my house is no heat and no air conditioning. And I turn the stove on to get some heat, and then they scream and yell, turn them off because of the oxygen. No lack of oxygen. And there's many other things. There's a sensor light that's third story. It's been on for about 6 months, steady. And they said, well, get a ladder and change it. This is my age, I'm gonna do that. And it's just so many things. And right now, I'm just a little nervous. And not focusing in my head, but there's a lot of things that are wrong. Sidewalks. Last year I almost had a water pipe break because I wouldn't pay attention to the no heat. And I had the faucet running, all faucets. And I says, how come in the hot water faucet, cold water is coming out? Then they panicked and they went in the utility room and felt the hot water pipes were cold. And told one of the contractors to go out and get his heater, and that broke the ice. And they fixed that, and all they did was pump that foam insulation in that area. So I don't even know if that wall is insulated, and it's an outside wall. And there's many more. And then another time I said, you're destroying my house. And the contractor said, it's not your house. It's our house, it's your home. So how do you handle all these things? No matter what you ask them, they come and look at things and they leave and they don't come back. My elevator, they put it in, lift, whatever you want to call it. Never worked. And they said, well, it's out of warranty. I says, how could it be out of warranty if it never worked? So somebody did come and work on it and got it going, but I got stuck in it, so I won't get in it again. And it's just so many other things, and I just can't remember them. I should have brought notes. I didn't.
Well, I think, and thank you. I want one of the biggest things though is the idea that some of these homes don't have heat or they don't have proper insulation. I mean, raise your hand if you have an insulation issue.
No.
And you're concerned about your pipes bursting.
Well, we don't know what's behind that
Okay,
wall.
so there's a lot of concerns here where the work was done and it was done poorly, and as a result, there wasn't proper insulation put in these homes. How many of you have had your pipes frozen last year? Because I know we had.
And burst.
Okay, so we had some
And
pipes.
burst.
And burst.
And that is one of the biggest issues that we're trying to resolve, is the insulation, the concern that pipes will burst again. Most of them have had that issue, unfortunately, last year. Avelia, would you like to speak a little bit about, because she had a mold issue. She was one of the families who was with us last year.
Yeah, thanks to her, it's gone and fixed.
Let's go ahead.
And give us your full name, please.
Evelia Valderas.
Spell it, please, if you could.
Valderas, B from boy, Alteras. Evelia, Evelia. I had a mold issue last year, and thanks to Nicole, it's being fixed. And now it's about the pipes, the frozen pipes. I'm scared for this coming year. Again, it's gonna be no water because I have frozen pipes. And I can use the kitchen, the bathroom. The first floor is really cold, so we have to be in the second floor. That's my big issue. Thank you.
Slava, would you like to briefly just talk a little bit about your issue? You had some repairs done, and then, but you want to just go ahead.
I'm sorry for my English. I'm sorry. But I will tell, but not with mouth, I will tell with my heart. I am depressed from them. I am crying. When I come to home, before my house very nice, very beautiful. Now it's driveways they not did. They broke all driveway. They broken. I give to them new driveway. Never stay car in the driveway. Never, because I'm looking too much for my house. What I have only my house. Driveways they broken. They lying. Second, shower room it's not working. Jacuzzi I says what I give you new jacuzzi in new shower when people I cannot take because no cold water jacuzzi. My grandson says Bobby, grandma, I wanna take the jacuzzi, put me in jacuzzi. I open, it's not working. It costs about 7,000 money new. If you coming, you can inspect my home. Please come, and you will see. Second one, I have new kitchen cabinets, and on the kitchen cabinets it's spotlights. I call to police. I come to them. I come to what his name, Tyrone. he is case manager. I says, Tyron, why you open lights on the kitchen cabinets? You have lights on the ceiling. No, you understand? Don't be worried. Go out. If we broken, we will fix it. Don't be worried. We will fix it. I says, it's very difficult fix it. I know. It's spotlight. It's very difficult. It's a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. New kitchen. You can come in. You see. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. Now they says you give us. You give us like this, not broken these lights on the kitchen cabinets. I says, tower, I take picture. I call to police. I call to police. I have police. I call to police. I says, I come Saturday, Sunday. It's working lights. I can 2 weeks, no closet lights. It's 24 hours. Second
Can I
one.
add something? I think what she's trying to also say and communicate to everyone is that they also did a lot of things that the homeowners didn't ask for. And unfortunately, what has occurred here, and we have a similar situation with Miss Hefty, is that they were putting in things in the home that the homeowners didn't ask for, and then billing the city a tremendous amount of money for it. So, for example, and in some cases, they were billing the city for things that were never actually done. So, Miss Hefty, I remember, had a $90 vanity set. We found it online at Home Depot for $90. They billed the city, the taxpayers.
Almost 3,000.
So there you have it. And so a lot of these homes that were rebuilt 3-4 times the amount of what the original value of the home was. So it's really outrageous what has been going on here. So I just want to, if I can move on to someone else, please.
Can we just get her name,
Yeah,
please?
sure. Please give your name and then I want to.
My name is Branislava Weiner.
Can you spell that, please?
Mary
Just stand,
Lou.
if you could just stand right in front so we can record it.
My name is Branislava, Bronislava. Last name Weiner, Winer. But first, I want to tell, they lying. They very big lying. They very big lying. They not. I call to them. They not pick up the phone. Never.
No, they don't even answer the phone for when we call. And sometimes they'll say they're coming out. They don't come out. People take the day off to come and get the repairs, and then they don't show up. They show up sometimes unannounced, as they will tell you in moments. But Mr. Wong, if you could please share your story.
My name is Mary Lou Wong. Last name is spelled W-O-N-G. My husband Tarek is gonna talk because he's dealing with it more than I am.
Okay, good morning. My name is Tariq Mustafa. I'm her husband. Okay, I have a lot of issue in the house. The first thing, my house is shaking and it's still shaking. And I have the building commercial. They give us 3 days for monitor to put it in the house to see how hard it's shaking. They never put it back. They never put anything in the house to see it, and they denied it. Okay. After that, we have an issue in the backyard. It's flooding. They don't put enough gravel because my neighbor, the one they did the house to, his house is higher than me, so all his water coming to me. They denied to put more gravel, in the ground. I have my third issue, my appliance. I have the dishwasher. The dishwasher. It's broken. It's nobody wanna come to fix it because the warranty is finished, and they denied to do it. I have to use the dishwasher to do my dishes because I'm disabled. My wife is disabled, and we can't do it by our hand. And most of the house was a lot of things broken. We fix it in our money. Until now we're broken. We have no money. Under the house, from the pipe under the house by itself last year was broken. The water froze. After they fix it, now we have under the house all the shit truck they did it down there. It start broken down. We have a big holes down there. We can't fix it. We have no money to do it in our own. When we told them, we gotta look at it. I'm waiting. The winter is coming. The pipe gonna freeze again. We have no water. We have no money to do it. What do we gotta do here?
And they actually, you had to leave your home.
Oh, we lived in the
because
house.
it
The
was
house
unsafe, according
in
to
the
the building
beginning.
department.
In the beginning, when they tried to give us the house, because the house is shaking, they took us out from the house. They put us in New Jersey in a hotel. We have to travel for her job back and forth at the time, and they don't even want to even pay the travel for anything, no for gas, no for nothing. And after that, they come, they tell us, okay, just get inside the house is okay, but the house is still safe. And the commissioner, when he put us for 3 days monitor to be in the house to see how it's shaking, they never did until now. And after that, they denied it now. And the house is still shaking. We can die anytime when it's a high wind. What do we gotta do? We have to stay in the house. We have no money to stay anywhere else. I don't know what can I do. Thank you.
Sir, what's your first name, please?
Tarek, Tariq, and the last name is Mustafa, Moustafa.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to now, is Louis Petrie here? So, we helped Mr. Petrie get some more baseboard heaters installed, but he still has issues with walls cracking. Would you like to just speak a little bit about what you're
Yes,
experiencing?
the main thing is the fence that they put up. Where I'm living, there's a lot of little kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, and the fence is coming down, and beside the fence is, it goes down about 5 feet, which is very dangerous. And they don't want to take care of this issue, which is dangerous, because if any of these kids ever get hurt or get killed, now it's going to mean a life, because the fence is too dangerous and there's a 5-foot drop.
But besides that, I'm going to speak for him because he can't remember everything. When they put the heating system in the house, they isolated the main heating system in the main rooms, and then they forgot about heating the bedrooms and the bathroom, came back later and put electric heaters in. So not only is there electric heaters in those 3 rooms, but you have to keep the doors open to all those rooms so the air flows through it. And he also had problems with freezing pipes last year. Now there's mold and mildew on the underbelly. There's still some exposed pipes that are not insulated. It's going to freeze this winter. So there's a lot of substandard things in there. The ceiling keeps cracking because it was a modular house down the center. It's uneven. They had to come back 3 or 4 times. It's still happening again and again. And there's more issues, like somebody else said, the dishwasher, it works. The cold water stays cold. The hot water pipes stay cold. They don't get hot all the time. Sometimes when you turn the hot water on, you don't get it for a long time. Sometimes if you do, it's scalding. So it's problems that keep coming up, and it's different problems every time something gets used as time goes by.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Robert Lombardi, on behalf of Louis Petrie.
What is your relationship to him?
He's my uncle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have Teresa Pepperone? You're here. Yes. Teresa. Oh, there you are.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, could you start and spell your first name and last name, please?
It's Teresa Pepperone, Paparone. I had an issue with my driveway. I was supposed to get concrete, and I had gotten gravel. And every time I asked, every time I put in a complaint, it was, no, that's on the plans. I finally reached out to Nicole, and she was able to help me, and now I have a concrete driveway. The next thing is, I'm scared like everyone else with the pipes downstairs. I had last year, one room, the bathroom, was frozen. Everything else worked, but I don't know what's gonna happen this year if we have a really bad winter. So, you know, hopefully it'll all get resolved. Okay.
And then we are here at the home, as I mentioned, Diana and Tom Doyle. If you would just like to give us an update on what your situation is.
Hi, I'm Diane Doyle, D-O-Y-L-E.
Thank you.
Our biggest problem was last year. We moved into the house in April of 2018, and the following February, so February 2nd of 2019, our sprinkler system froze and flooded my entire house, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. They came, they looked, they discovered there was not a stitch of insulation over any of the pipes up in the attic. They had left huge gaps in the attic where wind was coming through, and they said, well, you got to get out of the house, obviously, because it was a mess, and they put us up in a hotel for 3 weeks. And they kept saying, okay, we'll figure it out, and lo and behold, they came back and said, yeah, we don't think it was our problem, so go through your insurance. But there's no insulation, you didn't do it properly. Yeah, you have to prove it. I have video that shows there was no insulation. Yeah, we're not taking blame for it, go through your own insurance. So thank God we had insurance that said, okay, we got it, and redid the whole house. We were out for
5.5 months, 6 months almost.
where we had to find an apartment, we had to move everybody out, and we had a contractor come in and fix things, and as he was fixing things, he discovered that there were, the bathroom exhaust was never vented out. It was just dangling up in the roof. The vent for the stove and the microwave was just vented up. They left the vent up there dangling, they never hooked it up. So we had the contractor at our own expense fix everything that they didn't fix. And we've been fighting back and forth with them to take responsibility, and they say it's not their problem. And then there's other little issues. Our AC has been leaking since the day we moved in. We have this blue streak down our walls, and I have emails that show from April of 2018 when we moved in that we had an issue, and they said they would fix it, and then the year went by, and they said, oh, well, you have to fill out all these forms, and we jumped through hoops to get it done, and they came back and said, oh, well, it's a year, so it's out of warranty. But it didn't work from day one. Well, no, now it's out of warranty, we're not gonna fix it. And we put a few other claims in that were under warranty, and they came back and said, no, out of warranty, we're not gonna fix them. They're now fixing some of the staircase that has already rusted. In a year and a half, it shouldn't have rusted. And they come when they want, they show up whenever they want, a day here, a day there. It's been 3 weeks now, we've seen them
3 or 4 times.
and they don't call to say they're not coming, and not one person from Build It Back or SLS has come by to see if they're doing the work. Are they doing it properly? I don't know. I'm not a construction person, I don't know if they're doing it right. Haven't come by to check on any of the work that they're doing. And that's part of the problem, is that nobody oversees them.
Were you here when Sandy occurred?
Yes.
Oh, so you've been living and owning the house instead, but you
Yes.
had been out of the house,
Yes.
is that right?
We were out of the house when they decided to not, we had a full brick house. We now
Beautiful
have a
two-family
modular.
brick house.
It was a solid brick house, and now we have a modular because they decided that we couldn't get a stick-built house. We had to go with a modular, and we were told if we didn't take the modular, we would be kicked out of the program.
So the house was flooded as a result of Sandy?
Yes.
And was not habitable?
Right.
Yes, right.
We lived in it for a little while. We came and went as we could because there was so much mold. But then we had to move out again when the entire house flooded. I mean, when we say it completely flooded, it was over $150,000 worth of damage. And thank God my insurance company, electric insurance, they're not out of New York, but thank God they were like, we'll deal with it, don't worry about it. They were great. The gentleman helped me as much as he could, and we were very happy with them.
So you're saying Build It Back in the process of rebuilding this house really just did very poor work?
Absolutely.
They hired people that weren't licensed, as far as I know, because when we asked, well, who did the work? We'll deal with it. No. Can I see a license? Can I see something? When they did the ACs, they literally left the hose dangling in the wall. So when the condensation would drip into my walls, I would start getting water on my ceiling, on my floors. And we were like, but it's done wrong. No. They ripped open the walls to discover they left them dangling and never vented them outside.
If I can just add, I've been inside many of the homes, and I could tell you that it does not look like professionals did the work. I mean, if you go to some of these homes, and I'm sure afterwards they'll be happy to take you, if you see some of the work that was done, it's like unbelievable. It can't possibly be a professional contractor who have done this work. I mean, Carol's is a perfect example. I haven't been in your home yet, but I'm happy to come in for coffee after. But Carol It's a perfect example of a home that maybe some of you want to go visit afterwards just to see what I'm talking about. It's just unbelievable.
So what's the next step now? How do you help these people? What does the city do? Or why are these contractors even allowed to do this work if they're not?
Well, that's now, I don't know if they're licensed. I mean, she says that, I don't know. You know, this is a good question for the city. Who is actually doing this work? Is it the contractors or are they subcontracting? I think that's a valid question to be asking. What we've noticed is, unfortunately, without an elected official intervening, these families get nowhere. And that is why many of them reach out to my office, they reach out to Senator Lanza's office to get an elected official to intervene on their behalf. Dawn Clarity from my office has been personally involved in each one of these cases, and she will tell you the back and forth that she has to go through, even coming from a government official's office, to try to get a response from Build It Back. They tell us they're going to do something, they tell us they're going to get out there right away, and then they don't show up. We have to follow up and keep on top of them continuously. And as many of these families mentioned, we were able to help with some things. We've resolved either the mold issue or the concrete driveway issues, and certain things have been resolved. Some insulation may have been put in following our intervention, but they don't go through the entire list and just complete the job once and for all so these families can move on. And so what I'm saying and what I'm calling on is, you know, we have a mayor who just traveled all over the country. He should come to Staten Island and visit my constituents' homes, his constituents' homes, and see how people are living 7 years after Hurricane Sandy, because the very agency that reports to him is not doing the job they're supposed to be doing. And that's what I would like. Because, you know, we can call as many times and we get some resolutions, we get some work done, but it's never actually completed to how it should be completed. I just have two more constituents, if I can allow them to speak real quickly, and then you can ask questions afterwards. Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin's another example, and I told you heating is one of the biggest issues, the heating and air conditioning systems that not being properly installed. He's facing a similar situation.
Yes, my first name is Donald, last name is Martin. I'd like to thank you folks for being here and having our voices heard, and Nicole, thank you so much. Very briefly, when our units were installed, they put the units such that the panels, the access panels, were straight up against the wall. So you couldn't gain access to the units to fix them. We had some folks stop by and look at it. There weren't any filters in these units, so the entire system got clogged. Right now, we have no heat, we have no AC. We had to buy 2 new units just to get some heat into the house. Nothing is working.
Portable heaters.
Yes, portable heaters. And sweetheart, anything else?
We have a tenant downstairs. She's asthmatic. Yes.
Sure.
Your name is?
My name is Marian, M-A-R-I-A-N, last name Martin. We have a tenant downstairs. She's asthmatic, so I have a concern for her health, not having the heat, and also with the pipes that's going to be, what's going to happen to the pipes if
they
winter,
do freeze.
if they do freeze. So we bought a total of actually 3 heaters, one to provide for her, for comfort, and
one for upstairs, one for downstairs. But our main thing is, in the beginning, there was no access in the utility rooms. We brought that to their attention. They said, sorry, we can't help you. Now that one problem has just blown into a larger problem. And it's just getting worse and worse each day.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, folks.
And just to, we've also spoken with the district attorney's office following last year regarding some of the contractors who we believe were overbilling and were billing for work that was never done. So just so you know that was also another angle that we've tried to take in trying to get some resolutions. My last constituent,
Sophia Stonick, S-O-P-H-I-A, S-T-O-N-I-C-K. and I also had a problem with Build It Back. Last year, my drain on the floor where they put the ladders froze, and nobody wanted to come to help. So thank you to Nicole's office, they came, and they did fix this. But I seen that there was hardly any insulation done on the house, and I'm afraid for this winter, and I pointed it out, they did nothing. Also, the ladders that they did from the moment they did the work, I showed them how substandard it was, because it's just flapping, it just doesn't even hold together, nothing. So now I know that nobody came, that my, what do you say, it's over a year. So I don't think that they will want to do anything. But they just didn't care. They did not pay the water bill. I had to pay that. They did not pay the electricity. I went to Build It Back to complain about it. They said there's nothing we can do. So not to get bad credit, I had to pay it myself. I had to replace all the screens that they ruined because you needed air. So they did such a lousy job. I was really disappointed even in the way they handled things. They just wouldn't answer. I believe they had also a problem with their workers, because there was always or constantly a new foreman. I think in that 1 year there were 6 different foremen. Everyone just left. But they really did a substandard job and were very rude, I have to say, really, really rude. And I'm still going to go back to Build It Back and see what are you going to do about the insulation, because what if it freezes this year? It shouldn't matter if it's over a year. If you did a bad job from day one, you should have to cover that. Because I'm sure that the city paid you, like she said, the city paid you well. You should do the job that you contracted.
Thank you, thank you.
And I thank you for your help. You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I want to add something, please. Now, our house, he has a lien hold on it from the DSW, the one they built it, and the construction company, they built the house, because Build It Back, they don't pay them.
Yeah. So
what are we gonna do here?
This is another issue that's we could talk about briefly, but basically there are a number of homes throughout the city. I have the list here actually. Some are in Staten Island, some are in Howard Beach and Far Rockaway, that they have liens on their homes from the contractors because the city has not paid them. Now, I reached out to the city months ago and they told me that the constituents should not worry, but some of them are worried, quite frankly. If you woke up one day and you had a lien on your home, you would be very concerned. Particularly if you were looking to maybe sell your home, that would actually be prohibitive then. So there are major issues that the city is creating an anxiety and fear for these constituents right now, who now have liens on their homes because they're not paying the contractor. When I spoke to the city, they said they were going to resolve it. They gave me a commitment it was going to be resolved, but they told me that they were negotiating with the contractors and I guess reviewing their billing. So I'm not sure, where it's at right now. It seems, as I mentioned, some contractors were terrible, and some of them were taking advantage, and some of them were overbilling, and the city should certainly be looking into that, as was Ms. Hefty's home. But some contractors, I'm sure, did do the right thing, and I think we have a couple of contractors actually here today who were working hard on behalf of the constituents, who are not getting paid also. So there's a major issues. And then the last issue is the tax issue, with the taxes being increased, and we put a state law in effect that would have, and I think Senator Lands actually wrote the law, that would have protected Sandy struck homes from sharp property increases, and now that is set to expire next year. But even with that expiring this year, they're still supposed to be protected, and the mayor and the city cannot give them an explanation as to why they have these high property tax bills. Is that your situation?
Yeah,
Would you like to just mention
very
that?
much. Our taxes increased, I don't know, by over 30%. At least, and I have to say, I went to ask for a reduction in the taxes because both my husband and I are seniors. My husband is disabled and has dementia, so I'm a caregiver, and we were denied. And I got the tax bill. I was like, it took everything that we had in the savings just to pay the taxes and not lose the house. Which, I mean, I do understand, even when the houses were built, when I talked to the architect, he said, yeah, taxes will increase. But so much, even for seniors, when you know you're living on Social Security and a pension. Thank God there was a pension, we worked for the city, but it's just unconscionable that I know that there will be people who don't have that and will not be able to keep their homes because you don't get enough on Social Security to pay that increase.
Well, yeah, and I think the biggest issue for the victims of Hurricane Sandy is that they are still supposed to be protected under the state law and the city laws that were passed until the end of next year, and for some reason they can't give it any explanation as to why these bills have gone up dramatically and they're not being protected under the law.
Who oversees this Build It Back program?
Well, it's the mayor. It's the mayor's
No, but
office.
is there like a commissioner of in charge of?
Yes, we'll get you the contact. We have that information, and we can tell you, and we can also tell you who we've been dealing with.
If you could explain, how do you differentiate between the responsibility of these contractors who stake or sheets versus the city?
Okay, we actually have a contractor here who would like to address some of the situations that's occurring. If you'd like to, you can just chime in now. But I think the bottom line is that the city assigned the contractors to these homes. And so they had the responsibility to vet these contractors and oversee them and ensure that they're doing the right job, and they're doing it well, and they're doing it with licensed workers, and they're doing it with not cheap materials, inferior materials, and that they're not overbilling. I think those are the responsibilities of the city of New York when assigning these contractors to do the job.
So it's a failure of oversight.
Failure of oversight, absolutely. You have
Thank you. So, first of all, I want to.
Can you tell us your name, sir?
Gary, Gary, Allen, Allen, Cazazza, Casazza. My company is Gary Allen Modular Homes. So first of all, I'd like to thank the representatives that are here today, because if City Hall did this, we would not be in the situation we were in today. I have been involved in Build It Back program since 2017, and 100% of my customers, who are, Mr. Doyle was one of them because I was called in as an emergency contractor, will tell you I'm accessible. I pick up the phone, I give these people my cell phone number, and I'm conscientious and I respond. And there's a lot of questions, and I want to try and be brief, so I'm going to try and bring this down to a nutshell. Originally, there was a place where homeowners could go, sit down with contractors, sit down with the construction management company, and discuss these things and fix them. Because each and every one of them needs to be addressed, but it's a large program. And you have to address these issues on an individual basis, and you have to fix them. The city owes me over $1 million. I'm a little contractor, okay? I don't have that kind of money. I've taken mortgages out of my house. My partners have not gotten paid. I have subcontractors here who have not gotten paid. They did the work. And part of the reason why this program is not moving forward is we cannot get someone from the city to sit down and speak to us to solve the problems. It's not all the contractors. Yes, you have some contractors that don't do good work, but you have many contractors like myself that really care about people. And I'm not going to go on because I promised I would be brief. I can answer questions here or
Just tell us what happened when you called the city. You say, hey.
How do you deal with that?
That's a wonderful question. I will provide anyone that wants 2 letters that I sent to the city. One was to the mayor's office and one was to someone in charge of this program, and both letters were ignored.
Never heard back.
Never heard back. I had meetings with the city. I did emergency work on Mr. Doyle's house. I said I would not do the work unless I agreed upon a price. We agreed upon $37,000 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, on emergency work. I still have not gotten paid. I have a family, I have mortgages, I have bills to pay, I have employees. It's just not fair. And the program took advantage not only of people that were in their houses, but small business owners, the very people who make New York survive. it's just not right to us. I have Joe from R&H Electric here. The city owes subcontractors like me just on Joe's bill. And Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's $380,000 about.
A little under 400.
It's a little contracted. He has to go into his 401k personal funds to keep his family business that's been around for generations going because the city is not doing the right job. We need help. And I don't know how to get it. I'm pleading with you because it's dear to my heart. And I really promised I'll be brief, so I'll take questions off the line if we can have some cards.
I just want to know, who are you dealing with in Build It Back? Who
Okay.
do you report to?
Can we take these offline?
Yeah, can we just, go ahead, answer the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to know the names.
So I deal, 100% of my dealings are with a company called SLS, Sullivan Land Surveyors. I'm actually in violation of my contract. I'm not supposed to speak to the press. It's supposed to go through SLS. But at this point, I haven't gotten paid. I have no alternative, and it is what it is. I'm speaking to you. So
But are you dealing with anybody at City Hall or anybody from?
I go to the mayor's office because the buck stops with the mayor, and the mayor should be able to say, and I plead in my letter for him to do this. That's why I want to be able to provide you with these letters. The letter clearly says, please give this to someone who we can sit down with and discuss it. All I'm asking for is 2 ears that will listen. And I know I speak too much, so I'm going to stop now. Okay?
Well, yeah, he's going to be happy to speak with you after, and we are concluding the press conference. But as you can see, because the initial contractor didn't do the work that they were supposed to do, that the city hired them, they had to hire an emergency contractor to come in. And, you know, it's unfortunate. And the city really needs to resolve this issue. They really need to resolve this issue. They got to get these liens off of people's homes. They have to pay these contractors who did do the work. It should be checked to make sure all the work was done and pay them. And finally, they got to finish this work because we're going to enter another winter now where we have constituents that are afraid that their pipes are going to burst, that they're going to be cold, they're not going to have adequate heat. And so these issues need to be resolved now. And I will just close with how I opened, which is what the city said in December of 2018. When we had a similar press conference. Any issue related to work completed or under warranty will be addressed. And remember that in 2015, the mayor came here himself and said at the end of 2016, all construction would be complete. Thank you.
Nicole, how many families are here?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 9. Nine are here. I'm working on 21 active cases. We've resolved dozens of others, but what we have left right now are 21 open cases. 3 of them, Dawn, 3 or 4 of them are still not in their homes.
Yeah, 3.
And 3 of them are still not even in their homes.
How many have liens that you have listed?
I don't. No one here has a.
Yes.
Do you have a lien?
I have a lien on my home. We just got the letter last
I
week.
sent out 30.
I sent out about 12.
I sent out
If you're a
30.
family owner, if you're a homeowner who has a lien, raise your hand.
I think I do because it came to resident.
Mine was resolved.
Okay, so five constituents have liens. And I will let you speak to everyone individually so you can,
And the 21 active cases, that's also Howard Beach, Rockaway, and
no,
Staten
that's
Island?
21
Just
active keys that my office is working with. They're all on Staten Island.
All Staten Island, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's in addition to additional cases that Senator Lanza's office is working on, perhaps other elected
Yeah, I
officials
mean,
have
we know
others.
that. I know that Councilmember Matteo has some. We know Senator Lanza has some. So, you know, personally, I can only speak for my office. I have 21 open cases. A lot of the other ones, because they have been resolved, and some of these have been half resolved, and they're still waiting for the rest of the work to be done. And 3 of my constituents are not back in their homes 7 years after Hurricane Sandy hit.
And as far as you know, or does anybody know, who is in charge of Build It Back program? Is there like a person?
There is. There's a director. Is Amy Peterson still?
I believe she is.
Amy
What's
Peterson.
Amy Peterson?
We'll confirm that.
Was the director, but we deal locally with the Staten Island liaison, and that's Andrew Olson.
Olson?
OLSCN.
Does not answer an email.
And Stephanie does it come out to
Is
a
it
site?
Stephanie?
Argento.
Stephanie Argento. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I have to go to a meeting.